Hi, I'm Anna.
Ben.
AutoSave, welcome. We're AutoSave, welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Dungeon Meshi, Season 1, Episode 23. Last episode, we were given a name, Thistle! It doesn't even feel like it was last episode because so much else happened.
I think that's kind of really strange that we agree on that feeling about learning this character's name that we've had for a while in the story, but we haven't had the name. And it doesn't feel new or strange. It doesn't feel like we just received that name, so like, what was it again?
Is it rewarding of a compliment to be able to achieve that when all this time we were just being, saying lunatic mage,
magician,
I imagine this episode we won't figure out if Yad had been tortured and or killed, whatever that means for them. I think that we are going to be going down a Senshi tunnel.
I definitely agree that I think that we're not gonna kind of see back what's happening with Yad. Is he gonna get in trouble? Obviously, Thistle's not really sure what was going on. He has like eyes and ears everywhere, but like, who were you talking to? Well, he doesn't necessarily know. He doesn't know what's going on. And I think that means for now that Yad is safe. Though I do think it would be interesting to put that into the plot with Laios kind of still having to deal with, do I want to be a part of this prophecy? Do I want to be the one that saves them? And then he's already met them and then one of them dies. The one that he's already met. That could be cool.
Skyfish. Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
You know what I was thinking about the other night? This show, especially as of late in the episodes and what's been happening, it's feeding something for my inner child. Because like when I was younger, some of my favorite movies were plots like Smart House or Monster House. And we have this idea of us trying to avoid the eyes and the ears of the lunatic magician and, bring the downfall about, and how it has control over the whole situation. It can lock us in. It can change the layout.
Was Monster House the animated one?
Yes.
Was there an old man in it?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I need to rewatch that movie.
Do you remember Smart House, though?
I do. I just loved the wild fucking animation style of Monster House. It was so cool.
I'm pretty sure there was also like a Scooby-Doo episode that was like them getting trapped in a building, but like computers were keeping them there. Or computers were, but it was really people.
Is the antonym of Monster House up? Oh my god, we're here. Oh man. Look at that guy. Look at his beard. Oh.
The one with the helmet seemingly cared a little more. Oh, ambitious, and we're seeing glow of the eyes, like greed.
I've seen the madness that gold get inflicted with. Seen that happen too. Food ran out.
戦ってでも食えるものを探さないと魔物だって何かを食って生きているはずだ。インバー、ブリガン、お前たちは盾で周囲を警戒しろ。戦士はここに残ってこの辺の地図をまとめてろ。行くぞ。
Damn.
鳥の魔物がまた出た。あの野郎、すぐ空中へ逃げやがる。
Oh my god.
次の食料探しはいらねえ。 邪魔になるだけだ。食料を見つけた。お前はこれを食ってろ。
I don't think it's just because you're gonna slow them down.
自分が情けなかったよ。食うものを探すことで必死になった。鳥は私たちの後を執念深く戦うたびに仲間は減り、食うに困ってついに馬も締めた。
No.
四つ足のワシ、ありゃグリフィンって魔物だ。
なぜ俺たちを目の敵
殺戮を楽しんでやがんだろうってな、そういう性分だって話だ。今度来たら丸焼きにして食っちまえばいい。アンヌに感謝してたくさん食え。
I'm suspicious of that guy now. He's gonna kill one of them.
一番飯を食わせてまだ36で育ち
36.
大
36.
人の俺たちが面倒を見る責任次の世代の面倒を見てやれなくなったら終わりだろう
Wow.
腹が減った体の中に鉄が流れてるくらいなら石ぐらい
What a crazy looking shot.
おい食い物隠し持ってるなあやめろ外へ出て話そう戦士が怖がってる怒鳴り合う声が徐々に激しくなり大きく争う物音と聞こえ恐ろしいほど静かになった
一体何がブリガンは
じっとしてるグリフィンに襲われたんだグリフィンは俺が殺したがギリンの頭を見ると何か鈍器で殴られたようなへこみがあったグリフィンを食っちまおうあいつをさばいてすぐ何日かは生きられる水で煮ただけのグリフィンのスープは獣の匂いと肉の硬さでひどい味だったが
Is it really Griffin soup?
夢中で咀嚼しゆっくりと小便をしてくると言ってふらりと出て行った彼は二度と戻らなかった私は一人残されてしまった残りの肉で食いつなぎながら今までに描いた地図を眺めた暗号に法則性を見つけ、
Wow.
意を決して部屋の外に出てみる死体はなかったざまな生き物がきれいに平らげてしまったのだろうその後多くに捕まりしばらくは集落で捕虜として拘禁された案外気のいい連中で古代ドワーフ語を教える代わりに食えないキノコの見分け方や魔物のあしらい方などをこうして私は地上へ出ることができたのだしかし私は考えるととても故郷に戻る気にはなれず、迷宮の付近や地上の町と迷宮がつながり多くの冒険者がやってくるようになった
That's literally the other side of what we saw in episode 1.
グリフィンの肉だったのかということ
Oh my god.
スープの味を思い出すのの肉もあの味から
And he'll know if he tries this Griffin, whether he...
グリフィンから逃げ出した理由だわしは
I'm afraid of discovering the...
そんなことが
戦士
そこのグリフィン先の長い人生食事のたびにそのことが頭をよぎり続く同じ味なら安心できるし似ても似つかない味だ
Does that mean you have to cook it the same way?
残念だけど心の使いは取れる
使えるだろあいつ何なの
戦士
Is it better to know the truth?
だな食べるべきだろう
可能な限り当時の調理を再現しようあまり処理はせず肉を切り出す
お前食いたいだけだろ
I love you,
I don't think
Sutsumi.
it's... I don't think it's as simple as
すごい
that.
筋肉ださすが肉食獣グリフィンは馬が好物だしではなぜ最初に馬を襲わなかったんだ
知らん
お湯沸かすね
前かぎ爪とくちばしあれで攻撃されても鈍器で殴ったような跡にはならないグリガンを殺したのはグリフィンではないだろうほんでは他の3人はどうその中に鈍器みたいな武器を持つ魔物は
お湯沸いたけど
このまま茹でるだけ他に具材とか
それだけだ
We hear blunt object, we just think murder.
せめて付け合わせでもあのキノコは初見だったのか
ああ初めて見た
Interesting.
マルシルあとは任せた
こんなことやったって選手はい
やここまで来たらどんな結果でも受け止めるつもりだ
It looks like it'd be gamey, right?
Yeah.
完成じゃ
This is so haunting.
これはあの時食べた味とは似ても
Yeah!
やはりあの時わしが口にしたのはいいんだ肩の荷が下りた何をしても生き延びてほしかったその思いを背負っていくことにしよう
ライオンズのバカなんてことしたんだよ。
獣の匂いがきついしかたい。何より後味が最悪。あの時戦士が食べたのはグリフィンじゃない。
It was another monster, not
い
another
や人
person.
肉でもない。彼らを襲ったのはグリフィンでなく
あー
ヒポグリフだよ。グリフィンは下半身が獅子だが、ヒポグリフは馬の禁煙種だ。
It wasn't attacking the horse.
だろう。好奇心か発情期だったのかもな。そしてヒポグリフはグリフィンにはない武器を持つ。蹄のついた後ろ足。
Hind leg
こいつで
kick.
蹴り上げられたら金属だろうと大きな穴が開くはずだ。断言するよ戦士。戦士があの時食べたのがヒポグリフなら、このスープと味が違うのは当然だ。
ありがとうライオス。それを聞いて少し安心した。ヒポグリフの味を確かめる術はないが。
それじゃあ確かめようか。実際にヒポグリフの肉と食べ比べるんだ。ヒポグリフはすぐそこにいる。この迷宮では過去に報告例もあったはずだ。シェンジリングだよ。そういえばチルチャックの出身のあたりの伝承だったかって聞いたことないか。子供と化け物が入れ替わる現象だ。ウリ二つの姿のトロールになって帰ってくる類だと思われていたが、
Changelings are
このキノ
wild.
コ型の魔物の仕業だと踏み入れた生物は少しだけ変わってしまう。戦士をさらっても食べなかったこと、召喚獣を殺したあの鋭い蹴り。
So it was
俺たち
Wow.
が戦ったこのグリフィンは、確かめてみよう。グリフィンの肉
we
は
put it back in the
シェンジリングのフェアリー
What? Yo! Look at all the fat!
サシが入ってうまそうになったな。
I was not expecting that.
Okay, this could be so much better or so much worse
Or
since our
confirmation.
speech. Yeah.
More scared to try this one. It was.
まあ味って条件や環境
It
次第
was
で
the
結構変わる
hippogriff.
からそんな気にせず。
違うんだ。ずっとこのスープをもう一度飲みたかった。ありがとうみんな。ありがとう。長く迷宮で暮らして一つ気づいたことが、この迷宮は人の欲望に強く反応する。富、知識、名声、
The cross on
僕
it.
たちのような迷宮へ求めないものに対し、何かを求めた途端牙を向く。これからお前たちは取り戻すという目的に加え、有欲の獅子を求めることになる。迷宮の反応はさらに苛
Become
烈
even
にな
more
るだろう。
severe.
それでも教えたいことがたくさんある。一緒に連れてってくれるか。
ああ、もちろん。それじゃあみんな先に進もう。ファリー。どのくらい眠ってた？体が軽い。食あたりは収まったか？よかった。
What? Well, he's how
どう
he's.
なることかと。どういうことだ？
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Is Marcel Chilchuk?
なんか変じゃ。
Yes! Oh my god! They've all switched like races.
先生大変だ。
Oh.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
聞かれうるせえな。チルチャックさん。
Now that looks like a guy that abandoned his wife and kids.
察するにどうやら俺たちはグリフィンをヒポグリフに変えるほどだ。
Let's do the rest of let's do the rest of it like this.
Where's Izutsumi?
Oh, that's so true.
マルシルはハーフフット、チルチャックはトールマン。
Is Izutsumi?
イズツ
Not a kobold!
いや、あれ多分コボルトだよね。
Oh my god.
You know what? I could have so many episodes like with this variation of the team, just so that each of them can experience different attributes and really
Right.
get it fleshed out.
This is especially funny after we saw the shapeshifter episode.
Yeah.
あの扉って
Oh.
考えたんだが、このまま翌日探しを続けないか。
はあ？
どうも迷宮は俺たちを逃がすつもりがないよ。
確かに
お
意外とここまで不便はなかったし。
違いが何だというのか。
先に進むとしてあの扉をどうするつもりだよ。
チルチャック、解錠できそうか？
会場も何も情がないんじゃな。かけじゃないか。
魔力が通ってる感じはするけど、
Can't decipher it?
やるには時間と設備とお金が。
これどうするの？
Knocking is not a bad option.
おいおいおい、ライオスなんか出てるぞ。
Kensuke.
ケンスケ、この骨幹で死んだとばかり。
Helping us out.
Kensuke?
扉が力を貸してくれてるのかな。
あるいはヤードのおかげかも。とりあえずお礼を言っておこう。
ありがとう。獅子だかヤードだか。
Ooh.
そこ。
Like, oh no.
Oh.
ガーゴイルを見ての通り動く石像だ。殴れば
I don't like gargoyles.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't either.
There's some like uncanny valley about watching cement and concrete move.
タッパがあるんだからお前も戦え。
無茶言うな。
Nice, Marcio.
大丈夫。
Oh my
Oh.
god.
マルセル。
Body doesn't have the constitution for it.
魔力酔いがあの一発で。待て、ダメだイズズミ。俺が合図をするまで動くな。土地の匂いで興奮しまくってる。戦い始めると死ぬまでやめないだろう。戦士、鍋を。戦士、なぜ手ぶらなんだ。
重いから。みんなここは逃げるぞ。戦士はマルシルを担いで扉の中へ。イズズミはこの
The bell! The bell!
チジャック。走るぞ。
That's wild.
But we rang it.
I know.
So what's that gonna mean?
飯でも作るか。唐突に食事の支度を始めるのか。この体、腹が減るんだものすごく。
ナマリが急に食事の支度を始めたのは見たことないけどな。
自分を振り返るのに料理は最適だ。
水、塩、卵を
Wonder how the hands feel.
寝かせておく。伸ばした皮にくるませ、くるむ。くるむ。
Aww.
不思議だ。
Steam it!
黙々と作業しているうちに気持ちが落ち着いてきた。
できたね。
There's a
The
little fur in
hair.
it. My mind is going crazy right now, honestly. I love how each plate has one with a little bit
見
of
覚えのある
fur.
形なのに。
いただきます。
気をつけろ。やけどをしないようにな。
おせえよ。
まるで今の俺たちじゃないか。多少何かが変わっても結
We
構
still taste good.
うまくやれるさ。これで綺麗に話がまとまったな。しかしここは異質だな。どういう場所なんだ。
たちが築いた防衛地点の一種でしょ。エルフとドワーフが戦争してた頃のね。
Mm.
学校で習わなかった？先鋭化させていった結果、大災害を招いてしまったの。エルフやドワーフたちは同じ過ちが起こるのを危ぶんで、迷宮内の技術にピリピリしてるわけ。
お前がなんとかできるんだよな。
え、なんで私？
お前の母親、宮廷勤めとか言ってたろ。コネとかないのか。
どのみち今の彼女はハーフフットだ。エルフと交渉するなら戦士だよ。
It's gonna work. He'll do a fabulous job. I trust in him.
戻る方法の模索は続けよ
意義なし。
Okay, that was Dungeon Meshi, episode 23. That was a big one. Right away, God, I think that if there's anything that we've ever watched in this channel that I feel like could have been the case because of my lack of understanding of Kaburu as a character, it was that there's a world that he could have taken the bell in the scene that we broke down in episode 17.
I still feel like pretty shocked by us having the bell in this episode. I think it's so purposeful that I think it was on purpose to make us like question and wonder.
I disagree at this
Really?
point. I think that especially because we've gotten to see what Kaburu is doing on the outside right now, it would not go with his character at all to have taken the bell.
I'm not saying like I'm not saying that if we like analyzed his character and what he's doing now, that we'd be like, obviously we were questioning, like, well, why would he? It doesn't really seem like something he would have done. But I can't deny us breaking down the actual scene and the hands and what happened with the hands in terms of the bell. And for the bell to not even be shown until this random comedic moment here, I think it was on purpose to set up the idea, like, I feel like Kaburu's character is supposed to be one that we're trying to understand more.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, seeing what he's doing now. And even the elves are kind of like, well, let's see. You seem like you're up to something, but we're going to see, like, what you have to offer. I feel like we've had to be put in this position where we were like, would he do that? What would that mean for the future? Why would he do something like that if he did it? I'm still, like, kind of surprised, though.
Does this mean that Shuro will be sending somebody, and what is Shuro doing right now and thinking? Like, do you think Shuro traveled with Laios long enough to be like, I bet he's doing some stupid shit with it, like throwing it to get Izutsumi's attention because of the transformation, like it rather than it actually being an issue, you know?
So obviously we're in a situation where Laios is at opposite ends of how he feels about this current situation than everyone else in the group, to the fact that he's like, I was thinking we'd search for the winged lion like this, and everyone else is like, no, let's find some changelings again and change back. We're also very much at the end of the season, so I feel like what's happening here could possibly, and honestly that's why I was like so heavily like in my head for the last like 5-10 minutes of this episode, was being like, how are we ending off this season? Are we ending off this season with us leaving the dungeon because we rang that bell, or we're leaving the dungeon because we have to change back into our original bodies? Like, having the bell come up here, even if we weren't intentionally ringing it, I have to think that, especially with where we are in the season, that this season is about to end, that something could happen, like us leaving the dungeon, and then Kaburu's plan goes into the works.
Episode 7, a Kelpie, watch out, get back. It's fine, it's harmless. Anne is a horse that always shows up wherever I fish. What was Senchi's horse's name this episode?
Oh my god, was it Anne?
I think it was Anne, because I was like, who are they talking about? And then I was like, oh, is it the horse?
Oh, that's such a good callback to look at the Kelpie horse.
Let's make sure it's true, because if it is, it's kind of even sadder.
I think it's when they were actually... Oh, okay. Great Bob! You were so
That's
right.
That's really
Be
fucking upsetting,
Anne
though, because the whole point with the Kelpie is that, you know, Senshi had this idea about it, and it ended up being so predatory and fucking with Senshi's, like... It didn't do what Senshi had wanted to, and to have Senshi have named and put that on another creature that it was in the situation that it was, that's really fucking sad, man.
I think what you can also bring to that conversation in terms of his history and what we learn in this episode is that he goes from his first interaction with a monster in this dungeon being so terrifying and it killing everyone that he knows. And then after that, he ends up, you know, meeting some demi-humans. He ends up interacting with other monsters that aren't as evil, you know, or vicious or bloodthirsty as he would view the Griffin. And maybe that's why he starts to be like, also he's thinking maybe he had eaten dwarf meat. Mm-hmm. So he might start to think that, like, maybe if it hadn't been a monster all along, then that means monsters are, like, misunderstood or at fault, and he should be giving them more of the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, his history is pretty...
There was a point in the episode that, like, Laios has done such a good job at creating a world that exists a potential that Senshi can live in, that he has at least the benefit of the doubt that he didn't eat a human when the idea of the hippogriff gets brought up. And I'm like, great, this is beautiful. You've done so much, Laios, but I know it's not over. And then he's like, let's fucking do it. That's the biggest risk you could have taken. But he's honest. He's earnest. Like, truthfully.
I think you can bring up a few points to tack onto that conversation. The idea of how Laios is viewed by other characters such as Kabru in terms of like indifference, possible selfishness, this idea that like what's the scale of how much he just wants to try the Griffin meat to how much like he thinks this would be good for someone else to try this and like figure out that is what they ate or not.
Yeah.
So I think that it's fun to use this as another example to put on the kind of Laios chart to try to decide where he stands and like really feel like you understand his character. I think that something else I'd want to bring up for the tail end of the feast is that there's no explicit, and I could be totally wrong on this because I'm not going back to like relook at it, but at the time and in the moment, it didn't feel like there was any explicit language that literally said and confirmation, like confirmed that it was the hippogriff meat.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was reacting to Senshi crying, being like, oh my god, oh no, he's realizing it wasn't hippogriff. But Senshi's reaction is only to say that the tears are because he realized he wanted to eat this again.
Yeah.
That is all we get. Do you want to eat this?
It confirms it.
I think that it
100% does.
I know, but it's not like explicit, like, you know?
Surely it is.
Well, there could be like a warped way of thinking that maybe you're just purely happy because you get the truth, even if the truth is fucked up.
I mean, it wouldn't have tasted the same. Like it wouldn't have tasted.
That's fair. Like no,
if it
yeah,
yeah. If the hippogriff,
I wanted to taste the soup again. And
yeah,
you'd be
that's
crying because okay, you're right.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have tasted the same.
And because of that, I wept, and then saw him become even more beautiful.
Which is hard to do.
You know what? I take it back. I don't think it's more beautiful. I think this is worse than how we've seen Senshi when his beard and hair are clean, or whenever he takes his helmet off. I'm not fucking around either. I genuinely think I prefer, and I don't know. I'm crazy. I get it. Whatever. God, I hate gargoyles. There's something about, granted, I love them in animation in comparison to seeing them in like live action portrayal. When I was having experience in VFX and video editing, that was one of the most uncanny things that freaked me out for some reason. Like there was it's not the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't know. One of those, like, I don't think it was Percy Jackson. I think it was the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And there was like one of the famous like New York bulls that are like concrete and moving. It like when it comes to life and concrete or like statues come to life, there's something so odd about it to me because you're watching this like rock form have liquid movements almost, and it's so wild to watch.
I don't think you've watched Doctor Who. And I haven't, but there's like a thing called like the Weeping Angels. And that isn't exactly the same, but it's still that energy of like statues that are like alive and kind of moving. I feel like there's just something like really creepy about that in general. Yeah. Definitely like a good Scooby-Doo episode thing. I think they were in like Paris for Fashion Week. I'm really coming out with all like the Scooby-Doo facts right now.
Honestly.
So, yeah.
We have a dog. That's Scooby-Doo-ish, too.
The kobold.
Yeah.
They did her so dirty there, making her a kobold. Like,
I love the hair in the buns. Like, just the fur, the dog hair, and like a ton of them. So good.
Yeah, and none of them complained about it. I really appreciate that. I feel like I need to ask you where you're feeling like we're gonna end this season off, because I've already kind of said that it feels like the bell being rung and us being in a place where only one of us is willing to continue traveling this way and the others are like, no, we gotta kind of change and back to our old selves. Do you think that this is literally like the setup for us to like start over for a season 2 of like journeying to save Fallon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think to like this, what Senshi brought up, it like I think probably toward the end of the episode, he set up the steps of the things they still need to achieve. He's reiterating
what other
I
was gonna ask like what other comparable shows can I think of, like in terms of leaving off like a first season and like just a general like vibe And there's not really anything else to compare the show to. I love the show, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like, I'm going to be an idiot if I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like we're going to leave off on like the craziest cliffhanger ever. And that's a good thing in my like vision of the show. But I imagine it being like, all right, well, this is what we're going to tackle next. You know, does that
I
make...
feel like with the pacing of how this show has been treated, I would be surprised if the season ended on like a major cliffhanger of like, I feel like it makes sense by how the pacing has been like, yes, there's some serious stuff mixed in, but we're mostly enjoying the journey and adventuring and wanting to grow stronger, wanting to get further, wanting to try new food. And I really feel like I have to think of what Kabru is setting up for us right now with the Western Elves. And I feel like it makes the most sense that whatever Kabru is setting up is something that is utilized for the beginning. So do you think we're going to see Kabru
next episode or before the season ends again? Or do you think what we saw last of him was a good place to leave him until a next season starts?
I guess that I would predict that you'd probably have some sort of like most of the episode or most of a final episode. I'm not really sure if there's just one left or like one or two. I feel like that whatever that next episode would be, if it is the case that we're like going back to the surface for a time being, would be mostly just the traveling and journey back to the surface, or Shuro getting us returning back to our original bodies, and then it would end with us walking into the room of like the Lord of the Island, and the elves are there.
Maybe.
And us like sitting down to have a meeting. We have a meeting with Kabru, something. I feel like that's like what I would predict. But that's just because they have us in such like a funny place with this episode. The fact, oh, we all changed into each other, so comedic. Oh, but we're also on episode 23, and what's happening? Last episode we learned Chilchuk has a wife and daughters. This episode we learned Senshi's backstory. This episode we learn more about Marcial's family, and we even were just learning about Marcial's past like 3 episodes ago. We are finally getting in touch with who our characters actually are. I hope that we get to see
Marcial interact with them. That'd be awesome.
To see Marcial interact with the Western Elves.
Yeah. Just knowing what her mother was, you know?
Or is currently.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.